Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Tuesday, the 24th of February, 2015. This is episode 117, Snow Week. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. Right off the bat, I have a lot to talk about in life stuff, and I'm just going to talk about it here, so definitely grab something, and if you're not interested, skip ahead probably 5 minutes. I normally keep it under 2, but I feel like this is going to be more of a 5-minute intro. Oh my goodness, last week was so long. The entire week, Gabriel had snow days or cold days. There was snow on Monday, Tuesday. No, there was no school Monday because it was a holiday. Snow day Tuesday, Wednesday, cold days on Thursday, Friday. It was bitter cold. It was like Minnesota, Wisconsin cold. Kentucky doesn't know how to deal with that. Kentucky barely knows how to deal with Michigan cold. And by barely, I mean like not at all. So no school. The bright side of no school on Friday, well, that was just crazy. Having Gabriel home the entire week for an unplanned vacation, it means that a lot of stuff that I planned to get done did not get done because we were outside. I was shoveling the snow. I think I shoveled my driveway about 8 times last week. Some kids came around to offer to shovel, but I didn't have any cash, so I had to shovel myself. It was good though. One of Gabriel's friends on the street, the two of them are like best buddies, but he has his parents have split custody, so he's not home all the time. It's like a 4-day split, which is very stressful on not just the kids involved in the relationship, but on Gabriel too, because Gabriel doesn't quite understand how this works. Anyway, half of the week his friend was home and they spent every moment together. It was actually really adorable. They built a snow fort and they played on an ATV and shoveled, not helpfully, but shoveled the snow a lot. You know, a little bit helpfully, but mostly not helpful, not unhelpful, but not helpful. The nice thing about Friday school being canceled is that I decided to take a road trip up to Michigan because I was really, really homesick. Like my work friends were like, "Are you okay? You've seemed kind of down the past couple weeks." And I was like, "I just really, really miss my family." So I took an impromptu road trip and I was hoping to see my new nephew who was born last week. The nephew who I made the owl and the sweater and the blanket for, he was born last week. It was a rough week. He is 5 days old today, and he was in the NICU until last night. He finally got to go home because he wasn't eating, so he had to be on a feeding tube and an IV, and it was super duper scary, terribly scary. I can't even imagine what that's like. When Mara was born, she had problems with her bilirubin. So for a week straight, we had to take her in every day to get tested, and it was very, very stressful. I did a lot of crying because, you know, pregnancy hormones make you crazy anyway, and then stressing out over sick baby. But, you know, we got to take her home every day. So I can't even imagine what it's like to, you know, to not be able to take your baby home and not even really be able to handle him that much because he had cords and stuff. Very scary. So I didn't get to see him while I was up there, but I'm hoping I'm hoping to see him again soon. I would like to make another Michigan trip fairly soon because it was kind of a whirlwind trip. I got to hang out with my sister though, and that was amazing. She is the same sort of crazy as I am, so when we get together, it's just ridiculous. Like, the first 2.5 hours that we were hanging out, it was just nonstop laughing. It is amazing to be around a person who can make you laugh for 2.5 hours straight. And then, you know, we started getting tired because we started hanging out in the evening. But yeah, that was my week. I hope yours was, as it was a pretty good week overall. It was a pretty good week. There were some really crappy parts, but overall it was pretty good. So I hope yours was pretty good too. So on to knitting. The Steampunk Knit Along still going on. It finishes March 31st. Rules are all in the thread. My project is the pattern A Cog in the Machine, and I didn't make a ton of progress on it, but I did, oh, it's caught on a notebook, make a little bit of progress. I started section 3. So, section 3 has this textured stitch. I really just barely started it. So it's got texture, and there are some cable parts to it. I didn't work on it until yesterday. So yesterday I picked it up and did 4 rows, and I really, really, really enjoy section 3. If I had picked it up earlier in the week, I would be super far in it, but I didn't pick it up until yesterday. I took it with me on my Michigan trip. I actually took everything that I was working on to Michigan and then barely worked on any of it, but I'll get to that. It is in my kitchen counter crafter bag, which is by Java Jenny, and I love this bag so much. So much. The yarn I'm using is Marigold Jen. This is the 2575 nylon superwash merino in the copper patina colorway, and the stitch markers I'm using. These ones, these colorful star ones, were made for me by my best friend. I love her to pieces. And the other ones, the blue, where are they? These blue stars are from Isn't Knit Charming. And I have other stitch markers on here. These ones are from Winemaker's Sister, and that's on Etsy also, I believe. So yay, my shawl got a little bit of work, and I feel like it will get a lot more work this week. I'm really feeling the textured stitches. I really, really love this part of the pattern. Section 3 is my favorite. Section 4 is good, but section 3 is my favorite. So hopefully next week it will be much, much more progress for you to see. I have a finished object. I'm really excited about this finished object. Okay, so I'm counting it as finished, but it doesn't have buttons because I have to go to the store and get buttons, which I'm going to do today. I'm waiting for after Gabriel gets home from school, and then we have some errands to run, one of them being going to the store to get buttons for his sweater. This is the Color Block by Karen Borel, and I knit it using Serenity Sock in Charcoal and Lion Brand Sock Ease in Red Hots. The sweater pattern is designed to use a main color and a contrast color. I opted not to really do that. I held 2 strands of fingering weight double to get the worsted weight, to get gauge for that. So this right here is this button band is knit using 2 strands of the Red Hots colorway. The body is knit using 2 strands, or the Red Hots and the charcoal together, and then the cuffs have the Red Hots held together and then the charcoal held together. So it's not as dramatic as some of the other color blocks on Ravelry are, but I think it is fine, and also I think that a cat must have laid on it because it has fur all over. He tried it on before I put in the pocket lining and everything so that I could make sure that it was fitting before I did all that extra work. He tried it on after the podcast last week, but I don't remember what that butt was for. It was for nothing. And he's really, really excited about it, and I'm really, really excited about it. I think it's going to be so cute on him. Oh, what is this? I wove in the ends on the sweater. I wove them in. because I said that I was going to. Oh, I just didn't clip this one. Okay. So I did do weaving in of some ends, but only on the sweater, not on the other projects that I was supposed to weave in last week. Sorry. Oh, I know it's just a goal that I made for myself, but I really wanted to do it. Oh, about last week's podcast. So I recorded last week on Monday, and then I edited on Tuesday. I went to upload on Wednesday because it takes time for processing after editing. And I went to check to make sure that I had said my pattern release name correctly, because there's another name that I kept accidentally calling it because it sounds similar. So I went to check, and there was a huge chunk that I thought I had edited out, but I hadn't. It was Mara being goofy for about 4 minutes. I was like, that's too long. I don't mind if she's in for like 20 seconds, but 4 minutes is a long time. So I had to go back, edit that, resave it to my computer in the format to upload it. So that happened I edited on Wednesday. It was formatting Thursday, finished formatting. I uploaded it to YouTube, but YouTube doesn't automatically publish. It gives you a chance to get all of your stuff edited before it publishes. And I forgot to click the publish button Friday morning before I left. So it didn't get uploaded until, I don't know, Sunday when I got back, or yesterday. I can't even remember when I finally clicked publish, but there it is. And I haven't done show notes on the blog for the past 2 weeks. Plan is to do them probably not tonight, but tomorrow morning, do all 3 weeks all at once. So really sorry about that if you've been looking for information or if you missed last week's podcast. It's there. I was a fail, basically. So works in progress. So I finished Gabriel's sweater, and you know what that means? I started my sweater, and I am loving it so much. So this is the Sarah by Laura Ayler. I'm using 716 knit Kona worsted in the modified hamsters colorway. So it's a big cartel shop, and this is a custom colorway, but as long as you are not, it's a hand paint. So it's a hand paint. Things turn out differently every time you hand paint. It's not an exact thing. So if you really like this colorway, Jenna could probably do something similar for you, but it wouldn't be this exact thing. And in fact, because hand-painted skeins turn out differently, even when they're all the same dye lot, I haven't started alternating skeins yet because this first part is made in several pieces. But I'm now to the point where I'm knitting all the way around, and I am going to start alternating skeins right now. So hopefully that will keep them from, I'm not worried about pooling with this colorway. That's not the issue, but I also don't want, if one skein, none of them look lighter or darker than the others to my eye, but I don't want to change yarn and all of a sudden there's like a huge stripe in the middle of my sweater, or, you know, like a color block. So I'll be alternating skeins starting right after I finish recording this podcast. So that is what it looks like. I'm using US size 7, which is 4.5 millimeter needles. And I love this colorway so much. It's so pretty. You can't even see how much pretty. You can kind of see, but it's, I don't know. Jenna's yarn is so pretty. If you don't have any 716 knit, if you are able, I would say that is a dyer you need to put on your to purchase list immediately. Her stuff is brilliant. Her yarn is super nice. I would say that her 716 sock is probably my favorite sock base to knit with, honestly. It holds up really, really well. It knits super nicely. So yeah, go check out her stuff. I love it, and her colors are so pretty. I'm so in love with this. I can't wait for it to be a whole sweater instead of just the beginning of a sweater. All I want to do is knit on the sweater all the time, but I have other things to do, like feed children and clean. And also work on sock for my sister. This sock is Suggestive Message by Mara Marzocchi. I'm using Knit Pick Stroll Tonal in the Canopy color. That's the green stripe. And Knit Picks Stroll Hand Paints in the Make Believe. That'll be the toes and heels. Last week I said I was going to knit them parallel, and I lied. I'm not. I have the second toe, and yeah, that's enough. I'm going to knit the entire first sock, but at least the second sock is cast on, and that is really where I feel like I struggle with things. So I'm like, ugh, I have to start the second sock. So at least it started. I'm going to knit the entire first sock because I was worried that I would somehow run out of yarn. I doubt it, because this is my smallest quantity of yarn, and there are over 40 grams, and I am, you know, a quarter of the way up the leg. So it should be fine. It shouldn't be a problem, but I was still worried about it. The socks are Suggested Message, so they use illusion knitting. Oops, I'm dropping some stitches. Not so good. So I've started the illusion knitting part, and I don't know that I'm doing it correctly. So you can kind of see it has, I don't know, it has a message that hopefully you'll be able to read when it's finished, but if you can't, I'm not going to rip it out and retry, because I read the instructions, followed them to the letter. So if it works, awesome. If it doesn't, my sister will just have some really cool stripy socks. I will definitely give illusion knitting another try if it doesn't work. I just really hope it does. I can kind of see what it's supposed to say, but I'm also really, really short into the illusion knitting part, so I should give it time to be a something. It's not, I don't know if it's like color work where you really start to see your work right away, or if it's something that you have to wait until you get further into it before you can really see what's going on. So I think I know where my spinning mojo went. I left it in Michigan when, oh, P.S., that yarn was being held in my, for the Suggested Message socks, in my tetrahedron sock bag from Sewn by Lindsay. I couldn't remember what the first word was. Sewn by Lindsay, Etsy. But I was staying at my mom's house when I was in Michigan, and she and her boyfriend are really, really heavy smokers. Super heavy smokers. So I had to wash my project bag. And this one smells kind of like smoke. The other two yarns don't, and I stay in a guest room and I keep the door closed, and they don't smoke in there. So the rest of my stuff doesn't smell like smoke, but this bag really heavily did, and this yarn did. I probably won't wash it until I finish with the project, but I'm also going to let it air out from my bag, not sit in the bag as I work on the rest of the project. Anyway, I threw this in the wash this morning, and it made it through the washing machine just fine. I was a little worried, but I trusted that Lindsay had done high quality work, which she did. Everything is where it's supposed to be. All the tags are still secure. The zipper isn't having any weirdness. So it went through the washing machine, and I am air drying it right now, so it's a little bit damp. And I didn't even remove the zipper pull. I just stuck it on the inside before I threw it in the wash. And yeah, everything on the inside still looks good too. I set the bag on top of my spinning so that I would remember to talk about it, and then I forgot. Anyway, spinning project. This is Gourmet Stash in the Tom Riddle's Diary colorway. It is one of her Horcrux from the Halloween Unclub. And this is what I have left. I'm on the second tribble. Is that right? I have the card next to me, but I don't have it in front of me. I believe she does triples. So I'm on the second one, and I spun about 4 hours this weekend. And by this weekend, I mean Saturday. I spent about 4 hours just chatting and walking around, and I couldn't, I don't know, I was full of energy, so I didn't sit very much, but I spun a lot. So I think you can tell the difference now in the size of the cup. And this has a lot more black to it than Hedwig did. Hedwig had a little bit of black in it, but not much. I'm using my Golding spindle, and I'm spinning very fine. It is, oops, no, I'm making a mess of my fiber. It's okay, it'll all spin out fine. So it is 2-ply. You can see it's still quite thin. As soon as I get that to work for you. It's still quite thin as a 2-ply. I'm going to Navajo ply it. So it will be a 3-ply, heavy lace, light fingering is what I am going for. And I keep my spindle in this Purolene cookie thing because it's pretty much perfect height for it. And it fits my fiber, it fits the card for the fiber, and it fits my spindle very, very nicely. Clearly, I'm not going to finish spinning that 2 ounces this month, but 4 hours of spinning is pretty good. I'm pleased with that progress, and yeah, I found my spinning mojo. I left it in Michigan, and now I have it again. Although I didn't spin yesterday. I didn't do much of anything yesterday. I was on a driving hangover. You know how that goes when you get back from a trip. I was just really, really tired, and I leveled up in my driving. That was the first time that I've ever driven to Michigan without another adult in the vehicle. I had my kids, but I didn't have a grown-up with me. It's the first time I've done that. So yeah, yesterday I was just very, very tired and kind of cranky. I had a really bad headache. I think I didn't drink enough water yesterday, so I had a terrible headache, and I ended up sleeping a lot and doing laundry and sleeping. That was my day yesterday. Not a lot of crafting going on. I started working on barn raising square number 10, and I am getting across the needle right now because I started working on it as I was talking to you at the beginning of the podcast. Okay, so I'm across the needle. This is number 10. It is close to finished. It's about, I don't know. This, the reason why I'm not sure is I need to actually measure it against my squares because not all sock yarn knits up the same. And the yarn that this is Peyton's Croy Sock FX in the Calla Lily colorway. And Croy is a thicker sock weight. It's not quite a sport, but it's not a normal fingering weight. It's heavier than most indie dyed fingering weights. So I usually go to about 30 stitches per side, and I'm at 24 stitches per side. And I don't know that I'm going to go up to 30. I might go up to 26 or 28 or something because, yeah, Croy just knits up bigger. So I love FX because it's a long color change, and the way that it does it is, here are the 3 plies. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Oh yeah, you can, I think you can see that. So there's 3 plies here. There's a light creamy color, a medium green color, and then a medium brown color. It's better when it's higher contrast between the plies to try to show you, but so there are 3 colors in the ply right now. The plies themselves change color instead of the whole yarn changing color at once. So maybe you can see over here, 1 ply is a cream color, 1 ply is brown, and 1 ply is light green. So they, the plies change color separate from each other, which gives it this nice transition from color to color instead of being color blocks. I really, really like it. And I love this colorway. I wish that I had more of it. I was given this skein of yarn to do a test knit for Lorraine. She's my knitting lady on Sundays. And she had 2 skeins. So I completely used the one in my test knit for her. It was colorwork. I don't remember what it was called, but on my project page, it's they're dark gray and this, and it looks like fences. And I just want a whole something made out of this color. It's so pretty. I love it a lot, the Calla Lily colorway. So yeah, this will be done today, and I'll be starting the next square, which is good because I think I'm 2 squares behind my my unofficial square goal for the year. So I'll be starting square 11 today.
My penguin! I can't.
I don't know what penguin she's talking about. It's totally a mystery. So on to what I'm reading. I don't think that I had started this last week. So I must have started and finished Paper Towns by John Green. I am going on a little bit of a John Green reading binge, and you can blame Josh from Sort of a Knitter for that, because we both read A Fault in Our Stars, one right after another last year, and we both loved it, but it caused us both to be emotional wrecks. So while I really liked what John Green had written, I was like, I don't know if I can handle that. Well, I just read An Abundance of Catherines a couple weeks ago, and that one was really good and not emotionally draining. And Paper Towns is the same way. It's really good. I don't know that I enjoyed it as much as An Abundance of Catherines. I don't know if it's because I read them so close together or, you know, whatever. It starts out really, really strong, very, very cool. And then there's a middle part where it gets a little, I don't want to say boring because that's not accurate. It's just not as, it's kind of like, okay, so the curve of action is kind of like the beginning is up here, rising, rising, and then the middle comes back down here, and then it goes up right at the end. It's not bad. I just, the middle part was a little bit difficult to get through. Possibly because I was on a road trip to Michigan. I don't know. But I did read most of this while I was in Michigan. That is a lot of what I did. I did some spinning, and I didn't really have a project that I could just knit without thinking. I did, but I didn't pull it out because I hadn't started this square. And I should have just started that square because I could have knit and worked on, knit and read at the same time, but I didn't. So mostly I just read this book. I recommend it. I think it was really good. It's a lot about how we see other people through the lens of ourselves. So we're not actually seeing other people as they are. We're seeing them as ideals or not sure how to say what I want to say. It's about how other people are actual people, not just what we think they are. Like they're as flawed, as great, as messed up and wonderful and everything as we are, but we don't see that about other people. We don't really see other people as other people. We see them as kind of caricatures. Does that make sense? That's what that book is about, and it's really, really good. I really enjoy it. I listened to a little bit of Gone with the Wind, but barely enough to even talk about. I was in a radio type mood last week on the way to work. I think because the sun is not setting all the way before I go into work. It's twilight. Like I leave my house and the sun is still above the horizon, and when I go into work it has just sunk below the horizon, but there's still all that twilight. So I think that's why I was in a radio mood. So I didn't listen to very much of Gone with the Wind. And I didn't start another book yesterday. I thought about it, but I didn't. I was too tired when I got home from work, and I did a lot of sleeping. But I put up a poll on Instagram this morning, and I checked out 5 books from the library on Sunday. I got home from driving, I took a nap, and Steve was going to take the kids out of the house so that they would be quiet, but I woke up from my nap and went with them to the library and then came home and promptly went back to sleep. So I got out 5 books and I asked which one I should start today. And there were only 3 responses when I checked it, but all 3 of them were this: Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Bop. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sure that I could look it up. It's made into a movie. As you can see, those are the people from the movie. And I want to watch the movie, but I do not want to watch the movie until I read the book. So, since 3 people picked it, and it's a fairly short book, it's only 211 pages, I'm going to read that one first, and then I will start whichever book gets the most votes after that. So if you're on Instagram and you haven't voted yet on what I'm reading, I will be talking about it on the podcast. So if you want to have some input, there's a good way to do it. The last thing I have for you this week is it's a sweater woe. It's kind of sad. So you may remember, I don't know, a while ago, summertime, I knit a sweater for my sister using this yarn. It is 716 knit, custom dye of modified Care Bears with fangs. It doesn't stripe. So this is what it looks like. And this is what it looks like when you send the sweater through the washing machine and the dryer. It's a little different. So my sister was very sad that the sweater is it's a little bit felted and the colors are not as vibrant. She doesn't like it now because we have very different skin. Like, this looks fine against my skin, and this looks kind of crazy against my skin. My skin is yellow based and hers is red based, so this doesn't look good on her. And I tried it on, and it fits me okay, except the sleeves are too short because they felted a little bit. Otherwise, the length of the sweater is fine. The zipper sits fine. It looks okay. But yeah, the sleeves are a little bit not great. So I am going to modify the sweater. I am going to take the sleeves and if I'm able to unravel yarn, then I will. No, really, I'm probably just going to straight cut and sew down the seam. So give it a hem for the sweater sleeve, and it'll be a short sleeve zip up hoodie sweater thing, which will be cute. It's not what it was meant to be, and yeah, I'm going to make my sister a new sweater using, hopefully I'll have enough of what I had left over from that sweater. I think there were 4 skeins of this, and I have 1 full skein that I don't think I touched at all, and then this skein, which is a partial. My plan is to make a $5 in Paris sort of thing. So I will, but not striping. I'll start with the collar. I will do the sleeves, and instead of saving the sleeves for last, I'll just finish off the sleeves because they're really short. They're just longer than cap, and then I will knit the body as long as I can. And yeah, that'll be Amanda's new sweater. I'm glad that I didn't make her something else using the remnants of this yarn, because I was thinking like leg warmers or hat or accessory of some sort. So hopefully I will I'll be able to make a sweater for her using the remnants. We'll see. I'm kind of worried about running out of yarn, but I don't know. I'll figure that out when it becomes a problem. And I am thinking tentatively that next week's episode will be called Mending, because I should, this week I should weave in some ends. I still haven't darned that sock that I showed you, I don't know, a month ago. So I should do that. I should fix the sweater of Amanda's, and I should sew buttons onto Gabriel's sweater. That's not really mending, but I mean, it is kind of like extra thing. So that is my tentative plan for next week's episode, to show you a whole bunch of things that are fixed. Yeah. In the meantime, I hope you make something fantastic with your sticks and string, and I will see you next week. Bye!